Ladies and gentlemen, here is the latest bulletin from the Intercontinental Radio News.
Step into the sand.
This is Macabre Grimoire with Ari Show, Travis Nye, and Robert Mayling.
Hey everybody, welcome to Macabre Grimoire, Chapter 17. I can't see the title. The lead mask case. Oh my gosh. I'm your host, kind of, today, Ari Show, here with my co-host, Robert Mayling, and then special guest covering for Travis Nye today is Dominic Winnicke.
Hey.
Hey.
You came back.
You came back. You're here. You made it.
The long journey is over.
Yeah. I have not heard of this case. But then I thought like I might have, and I was reading through the notes and everything, and I was like, damn, like it gets weirder and weirder as the story goes on. So
yeah, leave it to me to find the weird, obscure shit.
And you know what? I tried finding it in my Atlas Obscura book, and I couldn't even find anything related to it. So I'm like, wow, this is like a really deep dive.
It's deep cut, baby.
Yeah. Down.
As they'd say on last podcast on the left, high weirdness coming.
Yeah, pretty much.
So here's our quote to open the episode. 1630, be at the agreed place. 1830. Swallow capsules. After effect, protect metals. Wait for mask sign. This is from the note that was found of the two victims who are at the center of the mysterious deaths that this case revolves around.
You want me to go for it?
Yeah, you want to read that name?
Sure.
Hill?
Sure. The lead mask of Bentham Hill. Do you want me to continue?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
During August of 1966, the dead bodies of two men were found on a hillside in Brazil. Much of what was discovered at the scene would leave authorities baffled and has never been fully understood. What we are left with is a 50-year-old mystery known as the lead masks of Bentham Hill. I'll continue. The year was 1966. Manuel Pereira del Cruz and Miguel Jose Viana were friends working as electronic engineers, television repairmen, really, in the town of Campos dos Goitacazes, located in the northern area of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It was on the 17th of August when they left the area, telling their families they needed to buy work supplies and hopped a bus heading southeast to Niterói, more than 3 hours and 160 miles away. On August 20th, 3 full days later, their bodies were discovered laying side by side on Bentham Hill by a young man named Jorge da Costa Alves, who had been flying his kite at that time. I think that's so cute. He was flying a kite. They were dressed identically in suits, each wearing trench coat-style weather-resistant jackets and, covering their eyes, lead masks designed to protect one from exposure to radiation. Jorge hurried home and alerted the police. Journalists, their curiosities piqued by the oddity, quickly arrived as well. Though Pereira de Cruz and Viana's bodies were partially covered by vegetation, there was no sign of a struggle. They had no external injuries, and the area seemed otherwise undisturbed. Aside from the way they were dressed and the lead masks upon their faces, the police made note of a few other strange items as well. Next to the bodies lay an empty bottle of water, a packet containing 2 towels, and a notebook with a bizarre and cryptic message scribbled inside. Translations from the Portuguese vary only slightly, but remain perplexing because of the grammatical and spelling errors contained in the note. It read, and I'm going to read this in Portuguese. 1630 estar no local determinado, 1830 ingerir cápsulas, após efeito proteger metais aguardar sinal mascara. Translated, this means 1630 be at the agreed place, 1830 swallow capsules, after effect protect metals, wait for mask sign. Though one can make sense of the message, including the deduction that the bottle of water was used to swallow some strange capsule, it is just incomplete enough to provide one more stumbling block in the way of solving the mystery. What was the effect they were waiting for? What was the mask sign? And why did they need protection from radiation to begin with? In the days that followed, good detective work was able to add a few more pieces to the puzzle. The shop where they purchased the trench coats was located, and it was discovered as well that they purchased the bottle of water at a bar. The waitress who served them made mention that Miguel Viana seemed nervous and frequently looked at his watch. Whatever Miguel and Manuel were doing, wherever they were going, one thing seemed certain. Time was of the essence. Could you imagine, like, two, like, shifty guys, like, being like, come on, bottle of water, let's go. You know?
Yeah, and then in the 60s. And one thing I'd point out from one of my other sources I found is that they say the bottle of water was probably used to swallow capsules, which they probably did that as well as the towels they found on them were in a bag, and they were soaking wet.
They were wet?
Yes.
Oh my God. This is interesting, this next part. It says autopsies conducted in the days following the discovery of their bodies, however, did not lend any answers. There simply was no cause that could be found as to why these men died. The capsules they swallowed may very well have had something to do with this, but we simply do not know. It should be noted here that toxicological exams, quite normal, particularly in a situation like this, were never conducted. Why? It seems like the coroner's office was so backed up that the victims' organs were merely left to rot, more or less making the testing of them useless for traces of poison or other contaminants by the time the coroner got around to the job. What a bunch of pooey.
Well, you figure if they waited a couple days, though.
I was going to say, the 60s in Brazil, I mean...
That's true.
They're not, like, throwing around a lot of resources. You know, it's not CSI Miami. They're not
That's true.
throwing that back to the lab
And
for analysis.
Right.
The human body deteriorates pretty damn quickly, so...
Right. Yeah. All right. In the years since the tragedy, investigators have proposed several theories in an attempt to explain the events that transpired on Ventum Hill. One was that the two men were lured to the location by an unknown third party and murdered. Proponents of this idea point to the note claiming the spelling and grammatical errors were due to the words being dictated by someone else, possibly in an attempt to take advantage of these men's gullibility in order to rob them. Acceptance of this scenario requires several assumptions. However, it does seem to be true that the bodies of Pereira, De la Cruz, and Viana were found without any money on their person. Another contention is that the victims were wannabe time travelers and that they believe they had discovered a wormhole of sorts through which to travel. Could the impermeable coats and lead masks have been protective gear meant to shield their bodies somehow? If so, why was it necessary to ingest the capsules? Maybe, I don't know. That's, it depends on what the
all of these answers, like, require a holy shitload of, like, mental and logical hoops.
Yeah.
Even the robbery one, which should be the, like, Occam's razor straightforward one.
Yeah.
So, they got robbed by someone doing the, like, most elaborate, over-the-top, sci-fi-oriented con in the history of manipulation.
I'll buy these jackets, and I'll put on these masks, and I'll lay next to that well.
Yeah, I'm totally a time traveler. You got cash on you? Good.
Yeah. Here are the towels. Just take them. Don't ask why. Let's see. Finally, the most popular belief is that Manuel and Miguel were UFO enthusiasts looking to make contact with extraterrestrial visitors. This I believe. This particular belief also has some evidence, albeit anecdotal, to back it up. The victims were both said to be very intrigued by the mysteries of flying saucers, researching them extensively, and, it is said, have even built a small laboratory for that very purpose. Ventum Hill has been something of a UFO hotspot, with strange hovering crafts being seen on a regular occurrence by the townsfolk. Even, some say, on the very day that Manuel Pereira de Cruz and Miguel Jose Viana made their final climb to the top. Could this be the mask sign they were waiting for, the arrival of an alien spacecraft? Were the lead masks, which, by the way, these two technicians cut and sculpted themselves in their workshop, designed to protect them from radiation emanating from the ship? What, then, of the capsules? Or the two towels that were found alongside them? They have been using them, as Douglas Adams would write over a dozen years later in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, to wave as a distress signal or to use for warmth on their interstellar travels. That's interesting, because if the towels are wet, wouldn't you want to, like, snap them? Make them a weapon. It says, whatever it was that happened on the hill, we can be reasonably certain of one thing. It wasn't suicide. Eerie correlations to the Heaven's Gate UFO cult mass suicide of 1997 notwithstanding, the two men had obtained a coupon to return the bottle for a deposit back home, and even their story of needing to buy work supplies checked out. Investigators found newly purchased electrical components among their personal effects. It seems clear they were not expecting this journey to be their last. It's really interesting that they were able to kind of discern that basically, like, they had plans after this was to go down. Like, I'm going to, like, I want to get money for these bottles. Like, I have plans.
I got a deposit on this.
Yeah.
Plus 5 cents.
Yeah, if you knew you're going to go commit suicide, you'd spend it on something fun or splurge or something. You wouldn't be like, well, I'll go buy those electrical components I need for my job tomorrow.
Right. Let's see. Among the facts, anecdotes, and supposition, the simple truth is that we don't know what happened that day on August 1966 on top of Ventum Hill, and we likely never will. Author Jacques Vallée, who profiled this case in his book Confrontations, wrote that even years later, grass refused to grow at the location where the bodies were discovered, though it seems reasonable to assume that the investigators who worked the scene sprinkled formalin around the area to aid in masking the smell of decomposition, and that this likely contaminated the soil. Many remain unconvinced. They believe that something sinister, perhaps even truly out of this world, was up there that day. Formalin's like a form of, like, what, formaldehyde?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I kind of figured. Do more reading and you'll only see the case gets weirder. These people were into some strange stuff. The Italian Wikipedia, which I didn't even know Italy... Like, I just thought Wikipedia was just, like, a worldwide thing and it just naturally translated. But anyway, sorry. All right, I digress. The Italian Wikipedia article details reports of the same two young men setting up extremely bright, powerful, explosive fireworks. The lead masks must have been to shield their eyes from the bright flashes from the fireworks they used. Several days after their death, a UFO sighting sounding vaguely similar to their fireworks was reported. The strangest but most obscure report, though, is that another lead mask death happened 4 years earlier.
I find this one really fascinating.
Yeah. Flying Saucer Review magazine, that's so funny, reported that a man named Hermes Luis Fitosa was found dead in 1962. Around the exact same area with the exact same type of lead mask positioned on his face. According to Wikipedia, investigations had revealed that the victim had gone to that place with specific intent to experiment alleged psychic abilities that would have allowed him to pick up radio and television signals without the use of electronic means, but only through the power of the mind. If all this is true, this seemed to be some kind of occult thing. If it was a ritual suicide, it might have been done with the intention of continuing to live outside of their physical bodies. Accidental death can easily be ruled out if Hermes Luis Fitosa case is true. It's disappointing that there isn't more information about these spiritualists. Many have suggested that they were a part of a group of people attempting to contact aliens.
And another thing that I don't have listed on here is that there's some people who, and I don't know if this is complete speculation, I couldn't find more sources to back it, but there was one group, I did link to the Reddit that was talking about this a little bit, was the idea that maybe they were with, like, the Fortean movement, and the Forteans are something that we will do, like, a whole episode about at some point.
Can you give me a brief rundown?
They are basically, imagine a religion that purposely exists to, like, basically troll the universe.
Oh.
And to make people believe in weird things, and they basically they do things for the lulz, like invent a language, or will fake, like, an ancient Egyptian artifact, if nothing else, just to baffle people. They are super fascinating, and they, like, exist throughout history as a movement.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah, like I said, we could do a whole episode.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But I think it's the one of the main, like, guys of it, like the most prominent piece of literature that explores it and, like, their movement and what they think about things, which is hard to say. It's hard to wrap your head around. Is, like, understatement of the decade.
Right.
It's called the Illuminatus, or the Illuminati trilogy.
Okay.
If you look for those books, I couldn't get. I got like through the first novel, and I couldn't get through the other two because it was just so like.
It was tough.
It was wild. It was like, intelligent dolphins helping the Illuminati attack Atlantis underwater with like
What?
a whole bunch of It's just like.
That's
So it takes like a conspiracy theory and just cranks it up.
Yeah,
as much.
imagine that like 10 years from now, Alex Jones comes out and just be like, this was all an act, and I can't believe you bought it all because I wanted to destabilize the U.S. government just because I can.
Sure.
Jesus.
And that, so like a Fortean will like never admit they are a Fortean.
Well, that
Like
defeats the purpose.
Their movement, by definition, is that they don't. Their like mission is to perplex you, and that's how they see their like role in the universe and stuff like that. And it goes way back to like certain ancient cults and stuff like that. But it's really hard to like pin down if it's like one continuous thing throughout history or what, because they'll claim it even if it's not true. But they're smart. Lots of them are academics and really smart, and they're smart enough to make it be like feel legit and look legit and have sources and stuff like that.
What's interesting is that there's so many, if there's, depending on how many of them there are out there, that none of them have the need to service their ego of coming out and saying, I started this bullshit. You know what I mean? Because there's so many people that want to get credit for things like that. We deal with that all the time within the film industry, that people want their credit. They want their attention for like, that was my idea. That was my thing. And that nobody throughout history of these.
I think that's more of a recent thing. I think years upon years ago, people, the way of, getting credit was a lot less. So I think they could do it and say they did it, and nobody's probably going to believe them anyway.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
That's true. But yeah, Forteans are like we'll need to unpack that.
Oh yeah. This isn't even
But this is one that was early on my list of things to cover in a paranormal podcast, because this one really leaves me scratching my head.
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious about the capsules that they took, because I thought I read somewhere that somebody said it possibly could have been a psychedelic trip that they were trying to take.
I believe that.
Which, it's the 60s,
right.
So
it's the 60s, and they're spiritualists, right, into like the occult and stuff like that.
And it almost sounds like they may have gotten the idea from this guy 4 years earlier and thought, well, what was he into? So we'll try it too. And
yeah, that's so. And there would have been more reports of people continuing to do this throughout the 60s at that specific location, right? You would think.
You would think.
That, so it's just interesting, though, that it's the same location or similar location.
And keeping in mind that they didn't live in this area. They had to travel, what was it, like a 3-hour bus ride or something?
120 miles. Like, that's...
Yeah.
That's a good day.
For the 60s, yeah.
Even today.
That's 60 miles an hour. That's 2 hours.
It was still 3 hours away.
Okay. If they're traveling 40 miles an hour.
They probably were.
Yeah, traveling in a bus in the 60s in rural Rio de Janeiro. Yeah.
Sure, probably stopping every.
And maybe it was a dirt road. We don't know. We literally have no idea what Rio de Janeiro looked like in the 60s.
Yeah, but I'm gonna. My guess is gonna lean on the side of underdeveloped. Just call it.
Here we go. We'll say underdeveloped. I like that. That's the thing though that I was surprised that you left out at the beginning. Like, I think should have been in the beginning of the article.
Okay.
Is the fact that they constructed the lead masks themselves. Like, that's the most fascinating part to me, is the fact that they did this. So clearly it was an intent. Like we have to make these masks. Like, they're mask buddies.
When they left home, because the scrap metal that they took, or the scrap lead that they took it from, was sitting in their shop.
So they made these during the time that they had left their house. Is that what?
No, before they left.
Oh, that's what I thought. That's what I thought, that they made it before.
Who left the note?
Right.
Where did they get these instructions? Maybe they were looking for aliens and they got them from they were beamed down to them or something. Right.
And yeah, the aliens have a rough understanding of the Portuguese language.
Maybe they were just really crazy.
Well, aliens.
two people at once really really crazy in that way that their craziness is like coordinated.
Well, you have these doomsday preppers, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that isn't what happened. I'm just like, we're getting to like a level of coincidence to the point that it's just kind of like, aliens are becoming more plausible by the minute.
Right.
But yeah, it's a weird one, and there is no answer, and there probably will never be a like definitive answer on what the heck happened to these guys.
I hate that. I hate that there's no definitive answer.
I love it. That's what I want to talk about. On the show. I want to get at the shit that no one can explain.
I know, but I want like some theories, you know.
Well, we got theories.
I know. I want a good theory.
It would be really more interesting if it had continued like every 4 years.
That's what I was trying to get at. It's like, has this ever happened again?
Because it's just like a one and done.
Well, a two and done, because
Well,
you had the
yeah.
guy in 62 and now these guys in 66. Do you think the 66 guys heard about 62 guy and they're all like, that sounds like a really good idea. Maybe we could do it better than him. And then, oh shit, this was a bad idea. And then they died.
Maybe they were actually aliens, and that's how they...
That's how they had to
their
travel
life.
back, is basically spiritually, because they're energy beings, and they had to travel back.
So yeah, they had to basically get out of their meat suit and be gone.
I like that.
Maybe they became beings of energy, and they're like soaring through the universe right now.
I like that. What movies? There's a movie out there where the aliens are basically energetic beings. You have no idea what I'm talking about.
I think there's quite a few. But
I know, but like I remember watching. It was a movie for kids, and I remember that finding out that the aliens are just beings of energy really bummed me out, because it was like all this work and build up to like getting to like finally like meet the aliens, and all of a sudden it's like this light being. It's like, what the like, this is dumb. Like why would it be a being of light?
Contact?
No, not
Think
Contact.
of the Navigator.
I don't even remember.
it wasn't Explorers because you saw the...
Yeah, definitely not Explorers.
Maybe you might be or a little bit confusing Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
No, I saw that
I
with
was gonna
you.
say, those weren't energy at all.
I mean, you see the ship open and it's mostly white.
True. No. It was like this. It was like
Maybe
this.
you got scared and tuned out at that part afterwards.
It's possible, but I'm.
You never look at mashed potatoes the same way again.
This is true. No, but it was like they're on a spaceship and they're meeting the aliens, and it ends up being a being of light. And it's almost like, you know, like those old Windows, like the Windows 98 like screensavers, and like that light's like bouncing around. That kind of looked a lot like that. At least that's how I interpreted it to be. But it felt like it was like a Disney Channel movie or something. Maybe it was a Xenon. I bet it was a Xenon movie. Xenon. Oh my God. Girl of the 21st Century. Guys.
What?
Okay. God, I'm looking this up right now. Girl of the 21st Century. Here we go. It starred Raven Simone.
That's so Raven.
It says Holly Fulger, Stuart Pankin, and Kirsten Storms.
Kirsten Storms? That sounds like a made-up name.
Okay.
It's a good weather...
Kirsten Storms
Yeah.
with your weather on the fives.
Exactly.
No, come on. All right, hang on. Oh, wow, they all got older.
Strange how that happened.
Xenon Alien. Alien Scene. Xenon Aliens. Okay, so like what it was is that there was this moon ghost that like they didn't know it was a moon ghost, and then they ended up, it's like her name was Luna, like dumb name for a moon ghost, but
It's pretty on the nose.
Yeah.
more appropriate, I guess. I don't know, but yeah,
Don't call me weird tentacled alien thing.
but
That's straightforward. Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, it was like this whole buildup of like them thinking it was like this alien that ends up being like a ghost creature. So a creature, I don't know. Just that's what made me think that you know, with the energy beings and the aliens, that this took a weird turn.
At first I thought you were thinking of the movie Life Force, which was about space vampires, but I don't think I'm pretty sure you've never seen that. So.
That would be a pretty good assumption that I haven't seen it, but you guys should all check out Space Vampire. What was it?
Life Force.
Life Force. I'm like, Space Vampires. That's the name of the movie.
The lead actress Matilda May is naked throughout the entire film.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Her character is naked throughout the entire movie.
Do you see, like, what do you, like, boobs and butt? Or
Everything.
vag?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, not specifically, though.
We're Googling this.
What is it called?
It's called Life Force. It's 1985, directed by Toby Hooper.
Oh, 85.
Math is hard.
That's okay. Numbers are hard, too.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting that.
Oh, I see a butt right there. The center
Yep.
one.
Yep.
Yeah, the whole movie she's
Oh, my
naked.
God, that website, I thought it said Poop Club. It's Popo Club.
What? The hell?
It's a really bizarre movie. It's kind of
You don't say.
What are they strapped to? Like some sort of, like...
Jet.
Well, it's kind of they find these
Ladies and
aliens on
gentlemen,
the
we are
ship.
looking at an image of... it's a movie poster for this Life Force film with naked women strapped to what look like Boeing jet engines flying out of a weird alien spacecraft.
Yeah.
It's 1985. It was from the Canon films, so they were a little.
Oh yeah.
They were trying weird things
Push
at that
the
time.
envelope.
Well, there's no nips on the poster. Well, it's not that I can see.
But yeah,
Oh.
they find them in these like crystals and they bring them back. There's like 2 naked dudes and a naked woman, but of course the dudes are
Yeah, who cares about the D?
Yeah.
We just want to
Is
see
that
the
what they eventually
boobs.
turn into?
this big
Oh.
winged
Damn.
space vampire-ish creature.
Interesting.
Damn. Okay, that's cool. So yeah, that looks wild. So in conclusion, the lead masks would not protect you from space vampires. I think that much is abundantly clear from our research that we've just done.
our 2 minutes of research.
Our exhaustive research on
Yeah,
space
no
vampires.
kidding. Oh my gosh. That's so interesting. Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of is that they thought that they actually were aliens and they needed to get out of their meat suits. That would make the most sense.
Like that little Men in Black character.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
heads,
What's the line? The galaxy is on Orion's belt.
yeah.
That's interesting. So, I guess, I don't know, I got nothing else in this.
Sounds good. Once again, if you enjoy our playful banter with the paranormal and with weird dead bodies found in the 60s in Brazil, be sure to check out our website, macabregrimoire.com, or our parent site, thesioempire.com. Be sure to leave us a review, like us on Facebook, and if you really like us, go ahead and check us out at Patreon. We really appreciate your support. Thank you very much this week, and we will see you next time.
Macabre Grimoire is a production of thesioempire.com. Learn more at macabregrimoire.com.